Welcome everybody to game number 3 of this heavyweight match between basically Unknown and Gplay, where this best of 3 has gone for almost 4 hours soon enough, I guess. At least from the initial start time, theoretically. But those teams also played each other before this series even began, so lots of play games, 275 plus minute games for them already. As Naga Siren is unbanned, maybe we're gonna see a third one, but in any case, we are HeflaTV, I am Coucher, I'm joined by more rage plays. Man, predictions, how long will this game last?
Oh, well, it's obviously going to be 4 minutes, 5 men down mid, both teams. Whoever wins, wins, and forget about it. We all go home. But I think everyone needs some sleep and some food. So I commend these two teams for playing each other as much as they have today. And they probably hate each other's guts. But a big show of respect, I'm sure, at the end of this series. This is an elimination game, folks. So we will see who's able to bring out the win here. Unknown taking game 2, Gplay taking game 1. Unknown probably could have took both. But a little bit of throws going on in the first.
Yeah, a little bit probably would be the right way to say it. If you want to be like, if you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But basically Unknown did start with Avenge, but Gplay, two heroes to pick for them. Elder Titan has been the go-to in the first phases for them in the first 2 games already. But I guess there's always a slight chance to see and kind of an immediate Naga Siren pick for them. Hopefully not. Fingers crossed, but they do start with Puck. Definitely a way more aggressive hero, and I already like this approach. At least the start of it. Please, Gplay, do not make me regret it.
No Naga, no TV, none of this. Anti-Mage okay, not terrible, but yeah, still certainly one of the racers. Let's see some Juggernaut, hopefully. Juggernaut got a nice buff in the patch to his base agility, as well as making the Blade Dance a little bit of value point at level 2. So you can help to skill up the healing ward and assist with the push that way. So let's see some Jug or something like that. Maybe we'll see some Disruptor. He got a nice buff as well. So going to be interesting to see if they just stick with the current meta or go a little bit YOLO on the buffs and changes. Maybe we'll see a Bounty Hunter.
Bounty Hunter would be sick. I mean, just 4 second cooldown on the ultimate with Shuriken Dose bouncing through. It is a ridiculous amount of damage potentially coming out if the Shuriken Dose actually bounces as well. But Gplay going for a Witch Doctor at the moment, so I guess the team, since of course it's literally a completely fresh patch now. It just came out more or less. We patched, we started the game. So I don't think we're going to see like any massive changes in draft just because the teams themselves haven't had the time to practice. Yeah. Although, for example, the fact that Diffuser Blade now won't be an attack modifier, so that can be a huge part, especially if you should play a Naga Siren low. Naga Siren, since the illusions got nerfed now by 25% for building damage, maybe not as viable of a pick. Although I have to say, Naga Siren didn't reach that many buildings last game.
Yeah, tier 2 still standing until about 60 minutes or so. So yeah, Naga Siren didn't get the split push on so much as basically Unknown did a good job of relegating them to their side of the map, and they will pick up Slavi Slark once again. Hopefully he's not 8 slotted by the time this game is over, but either way, they will pick that up once again, so it has worked out fairly well for them. Don't think Slark was touched at all in the patch IIRC. So
I don't know, Slark, let me check. Nope, not in the list. Oh, his bounce damage got reduced a little bit.
Oh, okay, right. So perhaps we'll see a max Dark Pact build over the pounce, which is usually what I opt for anyways, because the pounce range is always static. So not a big deal for changes in terms of Slark there. Anti-Mage ban comes out from Unknown, so they'll take that away from Nico and Insulin as well. Which worked to pretty good effect for Gplay in the first game. They weren't able to punish it for long enough, and they'll also take out the Terrorblade too. Good stuff here, taking out all the late game heroes. This still does leave the Naga Siren in the pool, however.
The best of them all, man. The best.
The thing is that the illusions were nerfed 25% against buildings, so perhaps they stray away from Naga from the side of Gplay. TA going to be banned out here. She got a nice little buff in that Blink is not cancelled if you do not take damage. So Refraction Blink is still pretty real.
It's just back to the good old TA, man.
Yeah. So that's a nice ban there from Gplay. Would have been something I would have liked to see. I'm sure it's something players like Moo, Ferrari, Waga are loving to see come back into the meta. But either way, see what Gplay looks to go with here. Disruptor pretty good against Slark. He does have the glimpse back. They reduce the mana cost of that. I think they increased the duration on kinetic field. Static Storm always very good regardless. So that could be a possible pick for Gplay here.
Oh, it most certainly could. Static Storm cooldown also lower now, so it could work out. Or I guess it's not lower on the first level. From the level 2 and level 3 it will be.
Yeah.
But something like a sniper might see the light of day as well. Of course, up against Slark, for example, it's not the greatest, just in the sense that Slark can still close the distance rather easily, especially with that blink as well. Blink pounce, and suddenly you're next to a sniper, which a sniper definitely doesn't want to be in. Of course, in those situations there might be a vengeful, but a Visage comes out, so also a hero that received slight buffs will get the Gravekeeper's Cloak a little bit more often. I think it's like every 6 seconds now.
Yeah. It's just as if it was level 4 on all levels, so yeah. Very nice little buff for Visage, makes him a little bit tankier, allows you to have a value point in Gravekeeper's Cloak, but often that's maxed over the Grave Chill anyways, but does allow you to max that Grave Chill, get a little bit more.
Did we have any changes to the draw?
I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, the illusions now benefit from the marksmanship bonus. So I guess Gplay probably won't go for any ranged illusion, especially with Terrorblade being banned. Otherwise, Terrorblade with a draw, with Metamorphosis.
They do have all ranged heroes here. Witch Doctor is a pretty good right clicker early on, and we have seen them even in Commander Minus run the Drow Visage, so they will pick that up. So that's a good call from you. But basically, Unknown is going to pick up the Broodmother for themselves here. I believe that was Gplay playing it last game. Yeah, it was Hawkeye. So they'll pick it up. It's pretty good against Gplay. They don't have too much clear for it aside from the puck, and that's
they're so gonna go Axe, man. So gonna go Axe.
Yeah, they should, because it's good into the Visage as well. So and it's also.
Oh no, I mean Gplay themselves are gonna pick up Axe to counter Brood.
Right, but it's a good pick deny, is what I was saying as well, because it's good against Visage. So it's very good against Brood, and it's bad against their lineup. They don't want to see it. So definitely Axe would be a solid pickup here, as you mentioned. And Axe got a little bit of a nerf, but just to Battle Hunger. So really doesn't change his hero overall too much. I feel like after 2 points in Battle Hunger, you don't even skill it. You just go straight stats. Because it is really an early lane dominating skill and is pretty poor after that, and they made it worse than it already was. So
yeah, I mean, most axes I've seen these days just don't go for Battle Hunger at all. Just counter Helix and Berserker's Call.
Yeah,
for the maximum aggression as a team, not as a solo player, kind of.
Yeah.
But Gplay, they pick up a Doombringer instead. Something that basically Unknown themselves, I do believe. Kefka played it in game number 1. Got really great farm early on, unable to really finish things out. But basically Unknown, picking up a Death Prophet, hero that has maybe just been forgotten a little bit, although definitely not completely forgotten or anything. But between the Brood and Death Prophet, definitely lots of push. Gplay, decent-ish push of their own with a Draw and Visage, of course, but should be a pretty interesting game. But with the Doom, they still kind of lack the just means to deal with a Brood, maybe.
Yeah. One thing to note here, Mind Control picking up the Slark instead of Slavi in this game, so he can build a Shadow Blade, and I won't flame him for it. So that's not bad for the side of Unknown. Another thing to note, both teams have pretty heavy push with the Broodlings and the Exorcism on one side, as well as the Drow and the Visage Familiars on the other. So I do like that they are able to melt structures pretty quickly. That means we probably won't have a 78-minute game for this one. But either way, Game 3, guys, is a JDL playoffs. I believe this is the round of 16 between Gplay and Unknown, basically Unknown, formerly known as Aftershock.
And to introduce the lineups as well for the last time for this series, it's going to be Pure Evil on the Visage this time around, leaving Poison on the Witch Doctor with Nico Baby on the Drow Ranger, as Insolent heading towards the mid lane on the Puck, and the last one for them will be Hawkeye on the offlane Doom.
Yep, and for the side of basically Unknown, heading towards the off lane is the Broodmother, played by Kefka. In the mid lane, we've got Mind Control, actually another swap, over on the Death Prophet. Aggressively postured up is Magoma on the Vengeful Spirit, and Zeroji accompanying him on the Earthshaker. And rounding out the lineup once again is Slavi on his standout Slark from last game.
So, Death Prophet also got slightly nerfed. Base strength gain is now 1.9 instead of 2.2. Probably not gonna make that big of a difference anyway, because you like to build tanky items as it is. Maybe gonna hinder or hurt the early game just a slight bit, but even so, I don't think it really plays that much into it. And your ultimate is still the same old strong one as it was. But Hawkeye probably will spend a lot of time in the jungle, I think, on the Doom.
The Roshan tree is back. So a lot of people complaining about that. So that is now back.
That's the most important thing.
We could see some fog plays there. Also, it has some presence underneath it, which is nice. And Kefka going to put a few right clicks into Pure Evil here. And we're going to get a pause, and hopefully this isn't for too long. Go from Insolent is awesome. Nice deep lane ward placed here by the Dire side. So they will have some information on the offlaner. But so far, it looks like Hawkeye is rotating perhaps into the jungle on the Doom.
Yeah, I would think so as well, because that offlane would be absolutely horrible for you to deal with. Sometimes you can rely on the Scorched Earth and just run away, but with a Fisher blocking you, there's just really nowhere to run at all. Bottom lane though, Kefka, he's in a pretty good position at this point to just soak up some XP, get a few levels. But once he gets those levels, I can really picture him actually just bullying even the Draw Ranger. It's going to be rather hard for them to deal with it, and it's going to mean that the other lanes can feel a little bit safer thanks to just at least minimum one support having to be there with Nico Baby almost at all times.
Yeah, certainly so. I would have to agree. Hopefully Hawkeye can find something on this Doom. That could be the story of the early game for Gplay. Mid lane going to be pretty much a wash. Insolent maybe a slight advantage of being able to dodge those Crypt Swarms, but other than that, fairly even.
Yeah, although he can dodge the Crypt Swarm, he cannot make his creeps do so, so Mind Control should get his last hits anyway that way. It's almost impossible to really completely shut down a Death Prophet unless you just gank him. 1v1 matchups, in most, he can just find the farm anyway, but Kefka might be in some trouble, has his own sentry down as well, just runs into the trees, and of course on Gplay rather, they find one path into the trees, still no vision on Kefka, just Brood playing it completely safe so far.
Yeah, as you would expect him to do, and certainly is going to find quite a bit of levels here. Going to lack a bit on farm, but certainly going to do better than Hawkeye does. Although he's already found level 2.5 on this Doom, so that's pretty nice for him. No kill potential thus far. Zoroji is rotating in from the river, though, and does have a Fisher block at the ready. There is Radiant Vision on the cliff, though, so they will scout out Zoroji here, and Hawkeye should be just fine.
Looks like it's a rather passive start to a game. Hopefully it's not gonna stay this way the entire game. But I guess maybe with a Broodmother trying to split push it just as well might. But then again, last game as well, mid game was rather action packed, just Slark going berserk, killing everybody. And Slavi once again on the Slark. This time around, of course, doesn't have a crazy 4-0 start or anything, so not gonna have like a 5-minute blink. Oh, Kefka gonna get Paralyzing Casks, nothing to bounce to, but the Frost Arrows might still be enough. A Soul Assumption, and it's gonna be First Blood. Just as I was saying, it's going to be passive.
Yeah, they popped the dust there. Well worth that investment. And they will find Hawkeye there, so slow down his experience gain a little bit, which is a nice pickoff. Also, I believe the First Blood went the way of the Drow Ranger. Is that true? No, the Visage picking up it with the Soul Assumption there. So definitely nice to get some the Visage some farm. Ags will be very crucial in this game with the Drow Ranger Precision Aura active.
Oh, mid lane Mind Control might be in some trouble with Hawkeye. Yeah, his effectiveness unfortunately limited. He was about like 3 or 4 mana short of a War Stomp. So, I mean, even with the War Stomp, probably might not have gotten the kill.
Yeah,
I guess Insolent has a little bit more with the Precision Aura, but probably not enough.
Yeah, I don't think they could have had the kill potential regardless. Puck does about 200 magic damage after resistance, so even with that stomp, they wouldn't have been able to burst down the Death Prophet, I don't think. Hawkeye in the jungle, though, so sacking the offlane for now. This will allow Zoroji and Magoma to start roaming around, perhaps, and help out their mid laner.
Where's their smoke, man? Who rotates without the smoke? And they're going to go, I guess they're going for their ward at this point. There is an observer ward by Gplay, though, on the hill, so they're fully aware, or at least they should be fully aware of the supports being around.
Yep, Zoroji's going to pick up a bounty here, and the illusion's going to be picked up bottom by Pure Evil. Perhaps they look to push into this Broodmother's tower pretty early. They do have 2 levels in the Precision Aura already, and they have a couple of illusions here as well. Cask is pretty spammable into the wave, but their wave is pretty far behind, so they may not be able to put any chip damage into this tower. Meanwhile, top lane, they got 3 range creeps and a siege here, so they will put a little bit of damage into this tier 1 in the offlane for the Radiant.
So 1-0. After that, nothing really much is happening. Mid lane, can't really expect too many kills unless somebody rotates for really both sides. Maybe Insolent once he gets at level 6 in the Dream Coil. He does need a little bit of harass beforehand though. Just a few illusory orbs into Death Prophet while he's still bottle crowing at the same time, something along those lines. But for Unknown, Slavi has his portraits, so no Midas this time around. Not gonna go as greedy. Looking at, or comparing offlane rather, Broodmother sitting at 13 and 12, so doing really well. Level 5 already on Kefka. Whereas the Doombringer, level 4, I guess not that horrible either, just because he does have some access to the jungle. So, gonna be farming up reasonably well. Hawkeye looks to be going for a Midas as well. On a Doombringer though, it's just such a standard item to go for.
Yeah, it's pretty much unparalleled, the mechanic there with the Devour and the Midas. It's an advantage that you can't afford not to take, so... Kefka gonna find some space.
Spiderlings and get their slow attack?
That's a great question. I'm not sure about that. I'm sure you can devour them. And you probably would, but Magic Missile gonna go out onto Nico Baby bottom lane. There's the Fisher as well. Shockwave gonna fly out from Hawkeye, but they will find the kill for Magoma there. And nice return kill. 1-1 is your score. Almost 6 minutes in, so good rotation from the supports there. And Slavi absolutely free farming on the Slark in his lane, but Nico Baby's keeping up at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely necessary for them to do so as well. I mean, they kind of need to probably take mid-game control, otherwise the Broodmother gonna be a real pain in the ass to deal with. Also the Slark as well, really. They don't have too many stuns. I guess Waning Rift might be one of the best ways to deal with him, but timing it so that it won't get Dark Pacted is going to be really hard. Or then again, I guess they have the Doom, which is like guaranteed shutdown, but Magoma gets another stun, a nice Fisher as well onto 2, the Spiders are coming in, there's just so many of them. But TPs are coming in, it's Hawkeye, although he's only level 4, still makes Unknown back off for a little while. But just costing Doom some farming time, and just Kefka, he has gotten so much out of this lane already.
Yeah, he really has. He's really not been threatened much aside from that one first kill with the dust there, but we'll see Magoma rotate in. And they may run into Hawkeye here. They have the Dire Observer Ward, so they can wrap down towards him with the Magic Missile as well as the Fisher. He's going to get the Scorched Earth off, though, and he may be just fine to survive this one. One last right click, though, will be there from Magoma, and they bring down Hawkeye. Very nice kill early on for Unknown, and that will allow Hawkeye to establish a little bit, or Kefka, I should say, Hawkeye was last game, to establish a little bit more control over this Radiant jungle.
Well, 2-1, Unknown have the kill advantage now. Slavi still farming up, has the Ring of Aquila now, probably Blink Dagger will be next. So we'll see who's going to get the Blink Dagger first, whether it's going to be the Puck or the Slark. I would probably have to just wager on Slark getting it faster. But maybe, just maybe, Insolent, when he finds a few kills, can just speed up the process. Hawkeye also going to go back to the top lane, just to make it so that, I guess so far Slark doesn't really care about Doombringers, because Doom is not level 6.
Right.
Maybe I'm trying to go for a solo kill. Pounce does miss though, so no solo kill coming from there. But it's always the downside of, if you have an offlaner who cannot be in the offlane and goes into jungle, it just frees off the supports to roam, and so far Unknown have had great success with that.
Yeah, certainly. So they have a pretty strong roaming combo in the VSES. So we'll see a smoke though. I believe I heard one, and it was from Pure Evil and Poison towards the mid lane. Haste Rune is going to be secured perhaps for their mid laner for Insolent, but they actually are going to pick it up on the Visage. He does have 1 level in Grave Chill as well, so they do have some kill potential for Mind Control here, and they are also rotating in Insolent on the Puck.
It might be a little bit too obvious though. I mean, Nico Baby running at him as well. Even if the Haste Pure Evil just doesn't really have the necessary lockdown. If it was a Wraith King, maybe something like that. But just a Grave Chill wouldn't have been enough there. So, a little bit unfortunate. Also, they lose a tier 1 at the same time. This Broodmother getting a lot of value. Just, I guess, the Broodmother in game number 2? Yeah, it was game number 2, right?
Yep.
It was so long. Broodmother didn't do anything.
Game number 2 was like 2 games, but yes, Hawkeye.
It's just the Broodmother didn't do anything just after the first 15 minutes or something.
Yeah, and he's already going to put about a quarter of the health down on this tier 2 in the bot lane, and hasn't really been checked here. The Visage can't really deal with him very well, has no clear, but Insolent will have to rotate down and use his Orb and Waning Rift to farm some of this up. Meanwhile, Slavi's going to find a tower of his own in the top lane, 1,300 gold on him. Insolent did pick up his bottle and treads here, so he's quite a ways off that blink dagger. And as you mentioned, Slavi should have it a minute or two before him.
And Exorcism is popped, so they want to get the last tier 1 already as well. They are on a mission at this point to just end this game fast. Everybody wants to sleep, everybody wants to just eat, I guess, for them. And they do have a pushing lineup as well, so definitely applying a lot of early pressure, getting the global advantage, global gold advantage that is, and map control. Definitely gonna be great. Hopefully it's not gonna be... Oh, never mind, Slavi, he gets jumped with the Dream Coil and the Silence to follow. Soul Assumption does bring him down before the Shadow Dance even has a chance to activate. So really huge jump for them. They do lose the tower. Mind Control gonna get slowed down by the Paralyzing Cask a little bit. Nico Baby though, he's on the run himself, turns around with a nice cast, trying to juke things around. He's gonna get... Never mind, not enough mana for a Crypt Swarm. Mind Control, he cannot outrun this. Crypt Swarm does miss Nico Baby as well.
Wow.
My god, that dodge or that miss Crypt Swarm, I don't even know which one, but he survives.
Yeah, very, very slightly dodged by Nico Baby there. Voodoo Restoration also keeping him up. Would have been arguable whether or not he would have dropped from that Crit Storm. Either way, very nice trade in the mid lane. Despite losing their tier 1, they get both the Death Prophet and the Slark for Gplay, and those were two of the highest net worth targets. In fact, they still are the two highest net worth targets so far.
So is Brood. It's so sick, of course. 3 towers have gone down. Hawkeye will get pounced and just TP out. But bottom tower down to quarter of an HP. Well, slightly more, 65 over a quarter, but it's close enough really to not matter at all. And even Magoma will come in with an Invis rune, which is gonna wear off soon enough. But it might be enough to find themselves a puck kill potentially.
Yeah, if he doesn't get the phase on the Magic Missile, they will be able to drop the Spawn Spiderlings as well. That's level 4, so that's quite a bit of nuke damage there. They do have the Fissure from long range. Wave of Terror is going to go out, do a little bit of harass. Nice dodge by the Spiderlings from Kefka, and he will be able to finish off this tier 2 here. There is a glyph available, and they will pop it, but they shouldn't be able to contest this anytime soon. Fissure is going to go out for blocking purposes, and they will find that last hit for Magoma on the Vengeful Spirit. So already 2 tier 2s down, sub 12 minutes in the Radiant safe lane.
So Unknown, so far they've accomplished the missions they've set out to go for. I mean, just from the start of the draft really already. So it's going well for them, looking at the metrics. 4k net worth lead already, 1k EXP as well. 4k of course, pretty much all buildings so far. So Gplay, if they can just hold on, at some point they're going to be able to even out. Unless they just really start losing ground in kills as well. So far they are 1 kill ahead. They have the Doom available, which should make getting kills a lot easier for them. If only they had the Blink on Insolent would be even better, but Insolent's still level 10. So Puck has gotten the early levels, which means more points into phase shift earlier, which means more just elusiveness in general. Blink Dagger gonna be there in a couple hundred gold as well, but Roshan is going on. If Gplay just find this out, which, oh god, they're gonna...
And the Illusory Orb is there. The cast gonna bounce down on Zoroji. He gets cleaned up real quick. Doesn't even get a Fissure off. Dream Coil out on Magoma. He will be able to TP out, however. Familiar is not there quite in time. Roshan at about 50% HP. They perhaps can look to do this. Mind Controls are gonna get gussed up and doomed. And there will be a jaunt forward here from Insolent. Cast gonna fly out as well. That's a dead Death Prophet. Slavi looking for something from the backlines. He's gonna get dusted up, however. There's the Death Ward doing work. He does bring down Nico Baby. He is gonna be able to Shadow Dance away. But the Illusory Orb will be there. Soul Assumption. One right click from Insolent will finish him off. And I don't know if it's worth bringing down the Drow there. Feeding over the Death Prophet and the Slark. ES also going down a bit earlier. Kefka able to cliff walk away. And looks like the Venge was able to TP out as well. So still a good trade for Gplay overall.
So definitely a good trade. I mean, Drow died, but not that big of a deal in the end. And also just Familiars providing flying vision for them, making so that Slark cannot fog at all, can't get the Shadow Dance buff. He did go for a Shadow Blade, finished it up just before this fight as well. And like you said at the start of the game, this time around Shadow Blade is a fine item if you're a Slark. I still maybe would have preferred Blink Dagger just to get closer to the Drow Ranger, completely negate that marksmanship buff. But Roshan going on, Slark does just pounce himself in just to get the last hit, or not the last hit, but pick up the Aegis rather.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Gplay not able to save Christmas this time, and Unknown is going to kill Santa. But they will be rewarded with a little present on the Slark, so he'll be able to be a little more aggressive now with that Shadow Blade, as you mentioned, and should be able to find some solo pick potential.
We might see a solo kill right here. Pure Evil might go for Zeroichi. Zeroichi trying to outrun him, but the Familiars, they have too much vision, probably. Maybe a nice Fisher with an Echo Slam. Fisher first, but Zeroichi dropping solo to the Medallion, to the Familiars, and Soul Assumption gets the kill.
Yeah, easy kill for the Visage with that Precision Aura. And we'll even TP back to base, leave his Familiars to farm up the lane a bit.
And bottom lane Drow also got picked off. Dream Coil might have even been just slightly wasted there, but the kill is a kill. Bottom lane or mid laner, Magoma and Slavi on the hunt for something with the Aegis. You would expect you just to get some aggression out of Unknown, but just with the two of them, they have to be a little bit wary of it.
They are pretty deep behind enemy lines, but with the Shadow Blade, Slavi gonna look for a pick off. Nico gonna TP out as well as his partner in crime, Poison. So they're not gonna find much here, as they do TP to the top lane. Point Booster is already out on the way on the courier for Pure Evil, so he's on the way to that fairly early Ags, and it is going to be an Ags after the Medallion, so not a straight rush. And we saw the benefits of that Medallion there, killing off the ES. It will also help with Roshan hereafter.
So at this point, 8-3 kill score. Gplay looking pretty good in that regard. Of course, Unknown, they still have a huge advantage when it comes to map control and just towers. Vision-wise, a couple of wards from Unknown, one semi-aggressive as well. Whereas there's only one just extremely defensive hill ward coming out from Gplay so far, but they are going for some aggression. They want to get their own tier 1 down. Throw Ranger has the level 2 marksmanship and mind control. He is so royally screwed, he doesn't even know it yet. There's the Usurper to buy some time with Hawkeye. Who's he gonna do him up? One TP got cancelled, probably the second should be cancelled as well, or never mind, yes. In the end, so they get the kill. They're probably gonna get the tier 1, but the Pounce comes out onto Poison. They're gonna get the kill there at least. Slavido gonna get doomed up. He's Shadow Bladed, but he was in sentry range. Soul Assumption comes out. Shockwave does miss, and thanks to the Shadow Dance, he will stay alive. My god, it's just so silly. You're doomed, but your Shadow Dance keeps you alive.
Yeah, and now he can look to turn and find this Visage perhaps. Hawkeye not too low and is pretty tanky, but Slavi gonna be too overzealous, and he's gonna get gusted back. He will be able to put some right clicks into Pure Evil, but the Shadow Dance gonna expire. Soul Assumption is there. One last right click gonna get disjointed by the Shadow Wave. Slavi surviving again, looking to go on Nico, baby. He will not be able to clean him up under the TP. Fisher will be there onto Hawkeye, and Hawkeye can look to man up against this Slark, but he doesn't have a level death. He doesn't even have a level into it, and he will fall here. Slavi actually picking up the last hit. Kill secured. Doom does pick up the blink before he falls, though, so pretty good pickup there from him.
Man, it's just a Slark. Getting off the Shadow Blade before getting doomed was what really turned everything around. Otherwise, probably the tier 1 would be dead by now as well. But Gplay, all of them had to back off thanks to that. So definitely well played by Slavi, man. Knows how to play the Slark for sure. Shadow Blade getting him out of trouble twice now even. So nice pickup for him so far. Zeroichi also up to 1.3k gold on the Earthshaker, so on his way to a rather fast support blink.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Kefka brought down the tier 3 in the bot lane, so a nice little pickup for him. Space created, and now the Raxes are exposed, so he can continue to apply some pressure there, and he is going to have to force back some of the lineup of Gplay to deal with him and his split push. Sitting at level 11 on the Broodmother, he's picked up Necro 2s as well.
Yeah, it's not too far away from a level 3 either, I believe. Never mind, it's on the courier going to be flying out. So a rather fast one. Of course, no boots or anything, but still getting the tier 3 down, the racks exposed. Just go for the safe plays, maybe even just start nibbling away at the range racks. And if you get like a range rack advantage 21 minutes in even, it's still going to be pretty huge for you.
Yeah, certainly so. And yep, you can see just the semblance of map control that Unknown's been able to establish with this Broodmother. I think they really accomplished what Gplay weren't able to accomplish with Hawkeye playing that Brood right now. They're pretty much choking to their side of the map. Nico farming some Ancients. Everyone else just sitting behind their towers, except for Hawkeye in the offlane with the Familiars at his side. And he does have the blink to be able to escape here. So it is pretty telling as to what they have developed for Unknown thus far. And Slavi going to clean things up mid lane with a double damage rune. And look to push in here.
So Unknown definitely looking good at this point. And it's just a matter of... I mean, Doom is a nice hero, but maybe they should have focused a little bit more on the Broodmother even. Just because Kefka, he's a huge problem for them. Pops the Necro level 3 as well. has a massive spidering armor. With the TPs coming back, he's back, you know, for now. But he's creating space. Easy tier 2 mid lane just because they couldn't have enough people to defend both lanes at the same time.
Yeah, definitely so. So space created regardless. He really doesn't drop much for it either. Just a Necrobook cooldown, which is only 95 seconds. So he will be able to bring it back up soon, and he'll be able to farm the jungle with them for now. And once again, most of Gplay choked into their base here. Slavi picking off Nico Baby's Drow Ranger with the help of Mind Control as well as Magoma. So fairly easy kill for them there, and a big priority one as well.
Yeah, he's just farming up the enemy jungle, got punished, got really pincered there by Slavi as well as the Death Prophet. Nothing for him to do, and they're gonna get the familiars as well. One goes down, the other has 12 HP. Stone Form coming off cooldown though. Should be able to survive for now at the very least, but with an enchant totem, most likely we'll get the kill on this familiar as well. Unless they are resummoned, never mind, it's on cooldown. More gold into the pockets of Unknown at this point. Kefka up to another 2k gold as well. What's it gonna be next? Is it just Orchid now, or do you just go for straight off BKB, for example, to max out your rat potential?
BKB very good here. I think Orchid's not bad against the puck, but they do have the blink on Insolent, and they may look to find Kefka here if they are able to see him from the high ground. Dust is gonna get popped. It is gonna land on him, but he'll be able to cliff walk. And Insolent just gonna find a little bounty of spiderlings, but Kefka could be just fine for the time being. Roche is not up for another minute or so at the very minimum, so no team can take advantage of that. But 2,200 gold on Kefka here. And yeah, I think I would expect a BKB here. There still is the Doom, but if they Doom up this Brood, things are going to happen elsewhere for Unknown. So I really don't think he's too worried about that.
Yeah, I think at some point it might really come down to the fact that you have to. You just 100% have to Doom up a Slark. But, well, you kind of need Aghanim Scepter for that as well, just because otherwise the same thing might happen that happened before. Maybe has the Shadow Blade activated, maybe just gets to run into the fog, gets the Shadow Dance regeneration, gets the movement speed from it, and just outruns you anyway.
Yeah, certainly. Slavi, Shadow Bladed up, looking to find something mid lane. Insolent is here, but he's with Hawkeye, so he thinks better of it. Does have 2 ultimate orbs, so not too far off. He's about 600 gold away from the Orb of Venom and the point booster, so that'll be a complete Scotty around 23 minutes-ish, which isn't bad at all for him.
Yeah, and just look at the support farm, for example. Man, Visage has pretty nice farm on Pure Evil, not too shabby at all. But then suddenly look at Poison and the Witch Doctor, just 900 net worth compared to every other support who has like 4.5. Oh,
he's
sad
got
life.
That value ring of protection right now, and that's really not going to help much. Illusion Rune is a crappy rune top. Nobody really going to care much about that. Smoke mid, Zeroji. It jumps in with the Echo Slam there. It will get a phase shift off, though, and a jump forward for Insolent, but they'll be able to pick him off with the Fisher. He'll use up for the time being. Cryptstorm actually going to miss as well, and he's going to phase and blink out, so Echo Slam used there for nothing. And nice play by Insolent.
The silence from the Death Prophet, just a tad too slow to follow up. Also, Earthshaker's own enchant totem. Or the Fisher, so under or rather overestimated the damage of the Aftershock or the stun duration of it. It's a little bit unfortunate, but in the meantime, Kefka pops his Necro level 3, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike, maybe somebody to come at him. That Necro level 3, not too sure what that was all about, but Puck, as Gplay have demonstrated in the last 2 games, man, they love themselves some Dagon.
Yep, Dagon going to be picked up here by the Puck is pretty effective versus most of the lineup here of Unknown, but you will see BKBs probably come out for the Death Prophet as well as the Brood, and a little bit later on the Slark, so not sure how good it will be in this game on the Puck, but already has the Blink and Yule's up, so not a bad choice.
So Hawkeye gonna come in, devour that Necro Warrior, just taking a lot of damage from it, but definitely worth it, lots of gold to be had. Poison brings down the Necro Archer as well, so you never really want to feed away your Necro books. Lots of XP and gold chests in there for the enemy. But I guess they're rather fine with it because they're farming a little bit more efficiently across the board for them. Even the Doombringer doesn't have all that much, although he has a Hand of Midas as well. So Unknown, it's looking good if you're a fan of them at this point for sure, especially since they're going for Roshan number 2 already. And Gplay doesn't look like they'll make it there in time.
Yep, just ruining Christmas left, right, and center. Interestingly enough, Insolent picked up a gem fairly early on. It's a little bit later than what Kefka picked it up against Hawkeye's Brood Mother, but he does have that now to deal with the Brood Mother, and there is a 5-man rotation here from Unknown with the Aegis in tow, and Slavi going to be the front liner here. He can jump in onto Hawkeye. He will drop that one right click. Pounce is going to be there. Well, instant Shadow Dance, easy pick off on Hawkeye's Doom. He's got buyback available at this point, but they don't have Exorcism to go for a high ground push, so not sure if they will be willing to walk up high ground quite yet.
Well, Magoma might be in trouble. Even Dreamcoil used Insolence with his Dagon, or with the help of it, gets the kill, but the jump is there. Fisher lands on Pure Evil. Enchant Totem does not follow up just because of a nice silence coming out Slavi. Won't get the follow up either. Necro level 3 came out, so maybe they're gonna go for a just kind of a death push, but all the Spider Rings are down. Necro Warrior dead as well, so I guess push will come to really nothing.
Yeah, Slavi tried to run in to find something there, but they had the gem, and he's at least privy to that they have detection there. Not sure if they know he has a gem quite yet, but he will back off, and they won't find much there. So a nice little solo pick on the Venge is going to stave off the aggression.
So 12 to 7 the kill score, but both crafts should be in the favor of Unknown. Net worth by about 8,000. XP 2,500 or so, slightly more maybe. But even though Gplay, they have the advantage in kills, they're still behind in XP, and that is definitely not a good sign. I mean, they might be able to just rack up even more kills with Insolent having a level 2 Dagon now. Especially if there's Soul Assumption to follow from Visage. He's gonna have his Aghanim Scepter soonish as well, about 500 gold away. So they still have a lot of just power incoming, especially with Nico Baby gonna, or having enough gold to finish up a Manta Style. Manta Style also get the marksmanship bonus these days. Unless somebody's next to them, so there's no bonus there anymore, but they are smoked up. They want to go for the Brood.
Kefka needs to be very careful. He's got 4,400 gold right now. They have a gem. And he needs to be really careful. Jump forward, Waiting Rift. Oh, they're just melting him. And there goes 400 of his unreliable gold. And he doesn't buy anything up with that. So, a little bit interesting that he chose to hold on to it.
Yeah, I mean, no idea what he's really going for. Might be trying for it like straight up AC, for example. Slavi will find himself a Doombringer once again. Just, those are solo kills that really should not happen. And it's happened twice already. And it's that close to the Radiant base as well. Does go for a BKB now though, the Brood Mother. So really not sure why he was holding up all the gold. Thought that maybe go for straight up AC, like, I don't know, max out like split push damage, I don't know, but BKB in the end anyway.
Yeah, definitely a good item there, and probably will look to join the engagements with his teammates as opposed to split pushing now. As you mentioned last game, that Brood, once you get to the point of high ground, is a little bit tentative to go up there solo. Jump forward though, Yule Scepter onto Slavi. They will get the Gust and the Waning Rift off together, but a nice silence from Mind Control. There's a pounce onto Insolent as well. He'll be brought down. One last right click from the Death Prophet. That's the gem on the deck.
That's just mammoth for them. They get the gem. That was Gplay's like one way back into the game, just constantly kill off the Brood Mother, get the map control. Now they lose this, Puck is down as well. Thank God he actually ticked in enough gold to have a buyback now. But even with the buyback, Dreamcoil, never mind, it's gonna come off cooldown, so that's fine. But the pressure is just humongous coming out from Unknown.
Yeah, buyback from Insolent. He's going to blink forward and get the Waning Rift and the Dagon out onto the Earthshaker. He will drop. There's a Soul Assumption onto the Death Prophet. They'll find her as well. Gem is on the deck. Slavi going to be able to Shadow Dance up here, but he's going to get dropped on by the Familiars. He's going to have to pounce over the cliff and is able to do so. Nico Baby is there, though. Grave Chill as well with the Gust. He'll purge most of it off, but a nice Waning Rift onto Slavi. Level Death is there as well. Soul Assumption will be there, but not enough. And he will Shadow Blade away. Somehow this Slark still surviving. 3,200 gold available on him. He's still got Aegis, so may even look to find Insolent here, but the gem is there on the Puck. So was able to see it. Meanwhile, though, Kefka putting some damage into the range racks here. Still does have all his units available, but he will back off for the time being. And a little bit of damage done, about, like, let's say a third, roughly, just actually less than that. Done to this range racks, but that won't regen, so a little bit of space created for this Brood.
Yeah, unfortunately the Brood just wasn't close enough to the base while everybody was chasing Slavi. Otherwise would have been guaranteed racks. Necrobook was also on cooldown, but Nico Baby not even finishing up with Manta Style, going for a straight off Butterfly at this point. I mean, probably not a bad choice at all in general, up against even Brood Mother and all the units she brings. It would be really nice for them to actually maybe even have a Crimson Scarf, for example, but there's a Basher as well on Slavi now. They are all getting scary, and Throw Ranger is usually just not a hero who can stand up to just this amount of pressure from the enemy team.
Yeah, I'm surprised Nico doesn't have more items at this point. Just the Yasha, Blink, Treads, and Mom. But does have 2,400 gold ready as well, so can pick up a Crystallis if he wishes to do so, or maybe finish up an SNY, or even the Manta style, as you mentioned, which was buffed up in the recent patch.
Well, 15 to 9 Gplay, they're definitely getting the kills, but still cannot help but feel that Gplay, they are losing ground every single passing minute. And Unknown, they're once again trying to push in bottom lane. Just keep on the pressure, make it so that Gplay, they won't find the kills, and they also won't be able to push out any kind of lane to actually get to the buildings, just because they're always going to have to be wary of the potential of losing their own racks.
Yeah, and I don't think we've seen a single Doom aside from top lane very early on in the game that was regened up from Shadow Dance. So he will be building the Aghanims on Hawkeye. He's only about 800 gold from that at this point, and does have the Blink initiation, so perhaps that is what looks to turn the fight for Gplay. They do have some decent high ground defense with the Puck, the Death Ward, as well as the Doom. So if they turtle, they certainly do have a chance, but as more and more of these items come out for Unknown, it gets harder and harder for them to do so.
Well, do we have any massive items coming out at this point in time? Doesn't look like anybody has finished anything that we really haven't gone over. So, nothing huge coming out for either side. I guess the Aghanim Scepter and Doombringer might be the biggest, but the Dream Coil catches Magoma with the Dagon, should have plenty of damage. One more right click and Insolent will take down the Vengeful. Magic Wand was already used before, so they get themselves another kill, but it's just on a support. They need to get objectives, they need to get anything other than just that one kill.
Yeah, certainly so, but a nice little pick off nonetheless, and they will be able to push the lane out a little bit. It looks like perhaps Nico saving for a straight butterfly here with 3,300 gold in tow. There is a Rod of Aoi on the mind-controlled Death Prophet here, so that's not bad. Also does have 3,700 G, so can go towards a Black King bar, or perhaps just a heart for the raw HP against the Doom as well.
Yeah, I think like heart, even Shivas wouldn't be all that bad with just all the physical damage coming out from Gplay. But, well, with the 3 familiars, let the Rat Dota begin for Gplay. Glyph does come out, but the Stone Form is there, so it should be enough. Maybe they're gonna clean up a few familiars. Never mind. Oh, nice tower, the nice Roji with the Enchant Totem. So, just minimizing Gplay's income to the maximum.
Yeah, certainly so. You take a look at the metrics now. There is a 10k lead in terms of net worth for Unknown. Experience is not really much of a significant lead at this point, around 3k. Slavi is looking for something mid in the trees, but not sure he'll be able to find it at this point. And perhaps we will see Unknown regroup towards the top lane, which is pretty heavily pushed in.
Well, it's just the bane of Gplay at this point. Lane's getting pushed in constantly. I guess familiars might be the best way to try to deal with this. But then again, you kind of need familiars to actually output damage in the team fight, and not only just for the damage aspect, also the stone forms for the stuns. To just get the team fight control as well. Especially familiars, one of the better things on Gplay's lineup so far to deal with a Slark when he's Shadow Danced.
Yeah, certainly so. They don't have much else unless Hawkeye eats a Centaur War Stomp. Other than those familiars, they do have kind of the Waning Rift and the Gust, but neither of which are super reliable. And he can just run from them, so they are going to need some reliable lockdown there. But Slavi farming in the mid lane, there's no smoke here for Insolent Imperial. Don't know if they can find anything. They will have the clear vision from the Visage Familiars, and Kefka could get wrapped on here and caught out, but Nico Baby not aggressing past the creep wave, and the Familiars will scout him briefly, but not going to matter much. He does have the full BKB, 9 seconds left on that, and 2,700 gold on the Broodmother. Almost finished up his level 16 here.
This Broodmother, although didn't go for Hand of Midas, still feels like has just done so much more than Gplays in the last game. Although it's getting later into the game already, so his effectiveness has fallen off just because, first of all, he hasn't or doesn't have the waves in the bottom lane anymore. So he's tried to focus on the top lane, the tier 2 and everything. So all the other towers are going down, yes, but Broodmother suddenly isn't that strong of a split push hero, and they don't have a Naga Siren to really back them up either, and that's suddenly a tier 2 down in a matter of seconds with just Precision Aura. Never mind, wasn't even used for the familiars. So the push on Gplay is definitely crazy and unknown. looks like they won't even go for a fight, so they're going to lose quite a lot of HP in the tier 3 as well.
Yeah, the Familiar's doing a lot of work here. It's already at half health. There's going to be an orb for it as well. Swap back onto Pure Evil, but he's going to get gusted up. Magoma going to be paying with his life here. Jump forward from Slavi. He's going to pounce onto Pure Evil. He should die with that medallion debuff as well. And that's a mega kill streak for Slavi, but they do a lot of work towards this tier 3 tower. They won't lose any of the birds for now. Meanwhile, Broodmother doing a little bit of split pushing, but didn't really find much. And it was a little late to the party once again for Kefka.
Yeah, that was actually a really nice move overall by Gplay, or rather slow reaction. But oh, the jump onto Zeroji, they get the kill on the Earthshaker. They still have Doom as well if Slark should just poke out. And Slark is going to get doomed, but once again he gets the Shadow Blade just before the fact. Oh god, this Shadow Blade has paid off pretty huge for Slark thus far. But they might get the puck, and they do as well, so that's a gem for mind control. So they get the puck in the end, that's a huge kill for sure. No gem, although I think they could purchase another one. They should have it in the shop still. Yes, it's available if they just have the gold for it.
That's certainly useful at this point. 3,300 gold on Kefka, so not sure what else he should go for here. As you mentioned, the AC isn't bad to accelerate his push a little bit, and it does help out with all the physical damage that is offered by Gplay, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see him build into that. Butterfly is out now for Nico Baby, so he's going to have more of the survivable. He's going to supplement that with a Manta style as well. So Nico, a lot of output and some defensive capability as well. But Spiderling's just delaying the lineup of Gplay here as they do Roshan with Kefka and Magoma, but they are pretty aware of this, it seems. They will actually back off for the time being. And it looks like Roshan will go free to Unknown.
I guess it's Gplay just not having the puck, who is pretty much their best initiation into a Roche pit. But it's just Unknown. They've been controlling the Roche pit the entire game so far. And that's gonna be cheese as well for Kefka's Broodmother now. He did have to use the Necrobook, so the pushing will be coming out a little bit slower after this. But with the Aegis Slark, he can just feel so safe, especially with the gem on him as well. He will always know when there are sentries or something like that around. So Unknown, they're still looking good. Just the death on the puck definitely hurt them so much. Had the puck stayed alive, still had the gem, would have been able to contest Roshan. But well, Hawkeye still has quite a lot of gold, 2.5k. Heart of Tarask finished up on Death Prophet now as well, sitting on 2.7k health. Man, he is so beefy, and he has the cheese as well, unless he gets doomed. Guaranteed to be able to use the cheese as well, probably.
Yeah, so that will almost ensure a full duration exorcism there if he's able to get it off, and the cheese and mind control should do a lot of work in this fight, and has gone for a pretty standard item build on the Death Prophet this game, so commends for that. Either way, nothing much else coming out. There is a point booster on Poison, so he's still quite a ways away from that Aghanim Scepter. And Force Staff up on Magoma, he's going for a Ags of his own, does have the point booster in tow as well, but other than that, nothing too much to speak of. We already seen the Blink Dagger on Zeroji, so just waiting on Kefka once again, holding on to 4,400 gold.
I know what they're waiting for, man. It's the 75-minute mark. That's the magical time where you can.
That's when the game begins, really.
Yeah.
I mean, up until then, it's just an agreement. Let's just farm, see how fat we can get, and then we'll just have a giant sumo wrestling. Swap back though, Magoma, two-man coil there. Yule Scepter up from Insolent. Exorcism is going to get popped. They're going to bring down Pure Evil fairly quickly here. He's got the Ghost Scepter popped, however, is going to try to TP out. Not going to be successful in doing so. Insolent going to be able to jaunt out. Echo Slam doing very little. And they will pick off the birds though, so nice 100 gold going to Mind Control and Magoma each. And they won't be able to use much of this Exorcism left, so just a clean kill on the Visage and his lackeys there in the dire jungle, and they may look to push off this with the Aegis.
That was kind of a misplay by Gplay as well, although, I mean, theoretically, yes, you have a lot of damage, but Precision Aura wasn't used for the Familiars. Otherwise, there would have been like a tiny chance at least to kill the Death Prophet. But since the Precision Aura wasn't used, I would have preferred just Stone Form Death Prophet and try to TP out immediately yourself, something like that. Other than just fight for God knows how many seconds and then try to TP out, which was kind of destined to fail. But they can hold on, which does respawn now. Does have to just summon Familiars anyway. So they're gonna be fine to just delay this out even longer.
Yeah, certainly so, and these two teams are pretty comfortable with doing that, but we will see a smoke now from Gplay. And 5k gold once again sitting on Kefka. If he feeds this one over, there is a gem on Insolent. He's got the blink forward. There's the waning rift. BKB is going to get popped, but he's going to get melted way too quickly, and he's going to waste a charge as well as a lot of gold. And we'll be dropped down to 4,600 now, and his 7-second BKB. So a little bit of a misplay once again from Kefka on the Brood.
So it's kind of the curse of Broods, I guess. Has to happen, man. Has to happen. Has been a part of only 3 kills as well. So, Slark, how long does he have the Aegis for? About a minute and a half. So, still long enough for Gplay not to be able to act now that the Brood Mother is dead, probably. They're probably, I think, just going to try to push out the lanes as much as they can. Doombringer up to 4.3k gold as well. Has the boots of just speed, still the brown ones. So, gonna be able to go for boots of trials whenever he needs. And well, Drow still getting bigger and bigger, almost on par with net worth with the Slark. Has himself a Crystallis as well. Damage output is real, especially if the Doombringer is around with the pack leader's aura.
Yeah, I would love to see an AC on Hawkeye here. He's actually not so far off of it. With that 4,600 gold in his inventory. AC is what, around 1950 plus recipe? Or 1950, yeah, 4950 plus recipe. So he's not too far off it. It's about 13 to 1400 gold off of that. And that would be huge for all the physical damage from the side of Gplay. So I wouldn't mind to see him building that. They could also use just the Shivas, perhaps, of their own, as they would probably see the Death Prophet build into one. Eventually, does have the Plate Mail and 2,900 gold, so maybe we'll see Mind Control grab up this Mystic Staff fairly soon.
I really like that their cheese is on the courier. They're like, screw this, guys, we're not gonna fight anyway. Why would we carry a cheese? Maybe they're waiting for Slavi's Aegis to expire and then give the cheese to him just to play it extremely safe. Although, since Slark most likely is the priority Doom target, you won't be able to use the cheese anyway. And if this game, well, I was thinking about the thing, I think in the last game, maybe in game number 1 already. How crazy would it be if you could use the cheese on somebody else? Like you can pop a healing salve on somebody else just to use the cheese on somebody else like that.
Yeah, it'd be really good for supports to be able to hold that and give your carries extra item slots, and as well not having them worry about popping it. But that would be probably a little bit OP. Kefka is marching down mid, but he's going to be way too late once again to do any sort of significant damage to these structures. There already are going to be TPs back here from Poison. Everyone else retreating back as they find the tier 2 in the bottom lane for Unknown. So I guess just waiting out this Aegis should be despawning. Yeah, it just did, it seems. Yep, so 40 seconds ago. And Demon Edge picked up now by Slavi, so perhaps he is looking to go to that MKB to counter up the Butterfly that he presumes will be picked up by Nico, which is already available. And Nico not far off the data list as well.
So both just cores getting a lot of damage built. Doombringer had like 5.5k plus gold, decided to go for a BKB with that. I was hoping for a little bit more exotic, I don't know. But BKB definitely a solid enough choice, I guess. Not too sure how much it's actually gonna do against the Earthshaker. I guess it's nice to have it just be in the front lines, try to tank things up. Against the Exorcism though, still not gonna do too much. So for Gplay, I guess it's like try to doom the Slark and try to bring down the Death Prophet as fast as you can. But it's neither of them is gonna be easy. Death Prophet with the Plate Mail, with the Heart of Trask, extreme tanky. Well, unless he runs into like 4, but he saw the Doombringer. My god, that was so close.
Yeah, it certainly will be a tall order to bring down this DP, but they do coil him up here from Insolent around the corner. Not sure if Insolent was aware that it even connected, and Mind Control will TP out there. Meanwhile, Kefka actually going to drop once again to the combo of Nico Baby and Poison, and he will clean up the Necro units as well, but he's going to feed over his life for doing that. Slavi going to purge off the Paralyzing Cask and finish off Nico Baby. Nice little pounce in there. Pretty even trade, but it's better to have your Slark on the map than their Drow being down.
I just had to face palm my there. That was pretty much the perfect time for the Slark to come in. Oh, Drow just killed the Necro Warrior. Easy kills. Magomado might lose his life. W setters at the same time. Crit Form will follow as well. Phase Shift is used. Actually, it's Insolent in trouble now. Road of Athos. He's silenced up anyway. And he might even be brought down. A few more right clicks. He's gonna go down. Cannot get rid of the gem. Slark gets the solo kill onto Doombringer at the same time. It's really reminiscent all of a sudden of just game number 2 where Naga Silent died once, then 3 heroes died, all of the cores had to buy back.
Yep, there are buybacks available for Drought and Hawkeye's Doom here, so Slavi going to back up wisely so. He's going to reconvene with his teammates in the mid lane, and they do have Exorcism at the ready here, so they certainly can push. I'm not sure if the Boots of Travel are being picked up. They are now by Kefka. He'll be able to rejoin the fray, is building the AC for his team. Not quite there yet, so won't be able to accelerate the push here, but they are going to go for the exposed racks. Bottom, Slavi going to be the battering ram on the front lines. They are putting already tons of damage into this melee racks. Glyph going to be baited out here. Buyback from the Doom. They're going to allow the Drow Ranger to respawn. Slavi does have his Shadow Blade up. Dagon is there. Nice defensive Yules by Mind Control. The BKBs will come out from Hawkeye. Nice swap back from Magoma. Doom onto Mind Control, but he should survive this. As long as the Doom stays out of range there, and he will get healed back up by his spirits, but they are able to stave off the push onto their towers, and it looks like Mind Control will survive, and his spirits will heal him back up to around half HP, but they do lose the ranged racks in the top lane to Kefka's split push.
It's actually even the melee one. Seroji, oh god, he was so close to getting the melee racks, but
Oh yeah.
unfortunately Slavi didn't really back him up. He's going for Insolent instead. Abyssal Blade used Pounce as well. Oh, gets the phase shift just at the last second and does make it out thanks to the Use Scepter as well. So Slavi is going to go for the escape. Still, they didn't get the melee racks bottom lane, but they got it close enough. They got the top lane anyway. Unknown. In theory, they should have this in the back. Slavi in some trouble potentially, but with a Dark Pact, another Pounce, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, unfortunately they didn't focus very well bot lane on the racks as the Exorcism was going onto the range racks and the right clicks from Slavi onto the melee, so not either able to bring down either. But yeah, as you mentioned, Kefka taking one down in the top lane is big. He also got the tier 3 there, which was standing originally. So finally, space created for this Broodmother is actually able to get something done in terms of structural damage.
So looking at the graphs, steep drop in the favor of Unknown. 14,000 net worth lead now. XP does drop down to 10k, so I guess it's something, but BKB finished on Seroji's Earthshaker. Magoma has himself an Aghanim Scepter done now, and it's, well, not quite the level 3 ultimate, but soon enough. And it's gonna be yet another Roshan in the favor of Unknown.
Yep, and conveniently enough, GG rune picked up by Slavi at the same time, and they will be able to probably sound a death push after this one. Exorcism up in 20 seconds. Shiva's Guard available on Mind Control as well. He's got 3k gold in addition to that. AC should be coming out soon for Kefka. He's got 2,000 gold as well as the plate mail, so he does have pretty much enough right now to buy that AC and should be faring it over fairly soon.
So at this point, I mean, Gplay, they can definitely fight still. I mean, if they can Doom the Slark before really much happens. But of course, with the Aegis and Slark, it's a lot harder. Monkey King bar finish now as well. There's still a chance. Throw also able to output a lot of damage herself if she can right click freely, which is probably going to be the hardest part. I mean, Unknown, they're just not going to give the free time to Draw Ranger, at least they shouldn't.
Yeah, certainly. So Kefka is going to be pinged out here by the Visage, so we'll use the clear vision to probably scout him out, finding these neutrals. And actually, it wasn't able to do so at the time. It is nighttime, so Kefka's still hiding in the shadows. And the rest of his team pushing in the bottom lane here, so Gust is going to whiff. Just a little bit of a blind shot there from Nico Baby. Not going to find him. Slavi is looking for pickoffs on the backside. He could find the most important one here. Abyssal out onto the Drow Ranger. Will be able to Shadow Dance as well. And a few more right clicks. Gust is there, but he's walking pretty quickly and actually not willing to go up to the high ground. Is Slavi to find that Drow Ranger, but he will put some harass into this range racks, knowing the Drow had to back off, and he should be able to bring this down with relative ease. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, melee racks goes down as well. Range is at 99 HP, so should be dropping fairly soon. And they won't be able to punish anyone for it, as Mind Control will just heal back up from his spirits, from his Exorcism, and the Doom is now down for Gplay.
Once again, on the bottom lane, the exact same thing happened. Mind Control had the Exorcism activated, Doom came in, popped the ultimate, bench was swapped out to Death Prophet, nothing else happened. Hawkeye really hasn't had really any meaningful Dooms, I think, this game.
Yeah, certainly not, and we haven't seen anything that has turned the tides of a fight, even despite having that Aghanim Scepter. And even with the Midas, hasn't found too much farm on this Doom. Is sitting 5th overall in the net worth. Even the Broodmother, which fell off in effectiveness, certainly mid-game, is well ahead of the Doom and does pick up the AC now. Will be totally complete. Rapier picked up on Nico, baby.
Wow.
So go big or go home at this point. No 75-minute games today, that's for sure, folks. And we'll see this Drow hitting for a well over 700 damage at this point.
So, like I said, now or never. Doom coming off cooldown in 23 seconds time. Looking at the buyback status, only the Slark as well as the Prophet have it at this point. Earthshaker gonna have it in like 10 gold as well. So there's gonna be like free buybacks for Gplay to go through. I guess they're willing to take the chance at this point. Because I guess why the hell not? Precision Aura was used for this tier 2. Maybe a slight mistake. Or never mind, no it wasn't. What?
Yeah, you may have seen the pack leader order from the Doom actually buffing up the Drow there. Hawkeye just a little bit out of range, but they dropped that really quick. Swap back onto Nico, baby, though. He's got the Rapier. They do get the Waning Rift off, though. Echo Slam is huge. Rapier on the deck from Zeroji. He pops his BKB as well. Rapier still on the ground. Is Slavi able to pick that up? No, he's 6-slotted. He's just going to drop Hawkeye there. And Rampage goes the way of the Slark. Slavi playing excellent in both games on his Slark here, and GG, well played is called before he's even able to enjoy the Rapier. And wow, it ended before 75 minutes. Shout out to Nicole.
So yeah, the auto pause is coming out from the disconnect here, but well played by Unknown. I mean, just nothing else to say really. They should have ended this 2-0, I have to say, to be honest, in all fairness, but
Yeah.
some great games were delivered to us, so happy to have seen them. It took quite some time. It was probably the longest best of 3 that I've casted without any massive pauses or anything. So it's like, how long did this best of 3 take? Like 3.5 hours something?
If you include the early delays, probably closer to 4, but definitely
I mean,
appreciate
from the
your
moment
support.
it started, it was still
Yeah.
a rather long one, to be honest. No really
Yeah.
short games. I mean, every game was like 50 minutes at least, I think.
Yeah, +1 to Kefka. G indeed. So Unknown finally does take this. They will advance on to the quarterfinals. And well played from them, unfortunately, for Gplay. A long day of Dota is finally over. So thank you guys so much for joining us over on HeflaTV. And we will have some more JDL coverage coming up fairly soon.
Yes, we will. Of course, Gplay, they will drop to the lower bracket, so not all is lost quite yet. But this is going to be it for today. So, guys, thank you for enduring this ordeal with us. Just lots of hours of Dota in a row. But here we are at the finish of it. 2-1, basically Unknown take the victory, advance to the next round in the winner bracket, Gplay, down to the lower bracket. But if you like the cast, you can always follow HeflaTV for more. It's HeflaTV everywhere. Also, the links are below the stream. If you want to follow the casters, it's at Coucher for me, at MRP_Dota, which is also in the title of this Twitch broadcast. So check it out, check us out, leave us some feedback, and see you another time.
GG, guys.